Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a supernatural horror film, The Exorcist. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins at an archaeological site in northern Iraq. One of the boys approaches the priest and says that they found some stuff at the base of the mound. The priest quickly leaves his area to look at the findings. Upon digging the land, they find interesting things such as lamps, arrowheads, and coins. Looking for more, the priest unearths an artifact that looks like it represents a demon. Still mesmerized by the findings, he takes a break in a nearby shop. In the next scene, the archaeologists study the artifacts they found at the digging site. The priest is curious about certain artifacts, the pendant of St. Joseph, and the artifacts that look like Pazuzu, an ancient demon. While the Iraqi people bend their knees and worship their god, the Catholic priest starts going through the town. While walking, he is almost run over by the horse carriage. As the sun begins to go down, the scene slowly goes away as the priest stares at the creepy demon statue. After the creepy narrative from northern Iraq, the story quickly transitions to a town called Georgetown. In the city, an actress named Chris is seen writing down some notes inside her room. As she walks through the house, Chris starts hearing rattling noises on the roof. Worried, she goes to her daughter's room to ensure her safety. Bothered by the noise she hears outside her room, she goes outside to check where it is coming from. It is now morning. Chris goes to the shooting area of the film she has been working on with her director friend. After preparing for a while, Chris starts acting for the film. In the film, Chris joins a mobilization protesting against the military presence on the school campus. The crowd then starts shouting to show support for the cause. To fight for their cause, Chris takes the megaphone and screams all of their demands at the top of her lungs. The shooting session for the film is a success. To rest, Chai starts walking toward her home. While strolling around, she sees two creepy people in the church arguing about something. As she goes home, she is welcomed by her daughter named Regan. Regan starts telling her mother about how she spent her day. In the next scene, a Georgetown-based priest named Damien visits his mother. Upon taking off his clothes, he quickly approaches his mother and tries to wake her up. Finding out about her son's presence, she wakes up and starts hugging Damien. He tries to persuade his mother to move out of her place, but his mother quickly rejects the idea. In the next scene, Chris is seen talking with her daughter in the basement of their house. While looking at things, Chris is shocked when she sees a Ouija board. While holding it, she asks her daughter where the board came from. Regan says that she has been playing with the board recently, and she introduces her imaginary friend named Captain Howdy. In the bedroom, Chris and her daughter agree that they will go sightseeing for her birthday. Feeling good about the idea, Regan goes for a tight hug with her mother. On the other side of the story, the priest Damien is seen talking inside a local bar with the other priest. Damien confides to his colleague that he feels unfit in his role as a counselor and wants to quit the job. He confesses that he is starting to lose faith in the Catholic Church. In the next scene, Regan goes to her mother's bedroom to sleep. She argues that her bed keeps shaking, so she cannot sleep in her bedroom. After a while, the rattling noises coming from the roof start to worsen. Being annoyed, Chris goes outside the room to confront it. Getting ready, she pulls the staircases to the cabin. Before going there, Chris tries to turn on the lights. However, it seems to be not working. Quickly, she takes one of the candles and lights it to navigate the cabin. Slowly and carefully navigating the cabin, Chris looks for any signs of rodents, but she does not find any luck. Instead, she is caught off guard when she sees one of her house helpers is already in the cabin, making her startled. Similarly, the house helper says that he did not find any rodents present. At the local church, the statue of Mary is found desecrated. The local priest sees the statue being disrespectfully vandalized, leaving blood trails all over the statue. In the next scene, Damien pays a visit to his mother in the asylum. It's revealed that Damien took his mother to the asylum for her to have therapy. Upon seeing Damien's face, the mother acts aggressively, saying that her son betrayed her by taking her to the asylum. To make her calm down, Damien promises to take her mother home. On the other side of the story, Chris hosts a party in her house. Chris starts talking to her friends and mentions the priest she keeps seeing in the church. Her friend says that the priest's name is Damien, and he is a psychiatric counselor. He also says that Damien lost his mother not too long ago. Later that night, Regan suddenly shows up in the middle of the party. Regan startles the guests as she randomly says, "You're all gonna die up there." After saying it, she pours some sticky water onto the carpet. While everyone is confused, Chris immediately takes Regan and escorts her smelly body to the bathroom. Chris asks her daughter what made her say those words. However, Regan does not answer. This scene reveals that there really is something wrong with Regan. Later that night, in the bedroom, Regan asks her mother what's wrong with her behavior. Chris says that she's just sick and will be better as soon as she knows it. After a little while, Regan screams at the top of her lungs, looking for her mother. Being worried, Chris rushes to her daughter's room. As Chris goes inside the room, she sees her daughter's bed shaking aggressively without any logical reason. Regan is so frightened that she cries and wants to make it stop. In the next scene, Damien is talking with a friend about his mother. As soon as his friend goes out of his room, he immediately falls asleep and dreams about his dead mother. In the dream, he sees his mother seeking help. However, he's not fast enough to catch up to her. He also sees the St. Joseph medallion and a demonic face in the dream. Suddenly, the scene goes to Regan. She is in the hospital to check her nerves. Regan starts acting more aggressive than ever and curses the doctor while doing their medical routine. Clearly stressed, Chris talks with her daughter's doctor. The doctor says that Regan has a type of disturbance in the activities of her brain. He says that this sickness causes severe hallucinations and convulsions. However, Chris insists that she saw with her own eyes that the shaking bed was not really a hallucination. She also wonders how Regan's personality keeps on changing. The doctor says that Regan only needs to go under operation for her to be better. To make sure that Regan has the sickness, the doctors take her into the operation room. They start scanning her brain to see if there are any vascular displacements. However, the doctors are shocked when they find that the condition of Regan's brain is pretty normal. In the next scene, Regan's condition has become more aggressive and violent. Inside her room, Regan keeps banging her head with overwhelming strength. Regan also screams that she's experiencing extreme pain all over her body, and someone is trying to kill her. The doctors cannot even comprehend Regan's behavior anymore. It is revealed that a demon is possessing Regan. As the doctor approaches her, the demon inside Regan's body hits him so hard in the face. In a demonic voice, Regan screams that everyone should get away from her if they do not want to be hurt. To make her calm down, the doctors inject a sedating medicine inside her body. This scene reveals that Regan is not really sick, but a demon is actually possessing her. This explains her overwhelming strength and personality changes. Chris is now starting to doubt the findings of the doctors. Hoping for luck, one of the doctors says that Chris should now find a psychiatrist. In the next scene, Chris finds that the lights on their house keep on turning off without any reason. Scared, she looks for the house helpers to seek help. After a short while, a certain man comes inside their house to tell them the news. He says that Chris' director friend has died because he fell from the top of the steps right beneath Regan's window, breaking his neck. Chris is really devastated. She cries and hits the wall. Suddenly, Regan comes down the stairs while crawling backward, throwing up so much blood. In the next scene, Regan is woken up by a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist asks questions about Regan's imaginary friend, Captain Howdy. Not long after, the demon-possessed Regan starts acting violently and attacks the psychiatrist. In the next scene, Damien starts exercising to distract his mind from his mother's death. Suddenly, the lieutenant comes up to him and starts talking about a certain homicide. The lieutenant tells the story about the director's death, and he asks Damien if the case had anything to do with witchcraft. He describes the death of the director as really brutal, as the director's head was found facing backward. The lieutenant theorizes that the perpetrator of the director's death and the desecrator of the statue of Mother Mary are the same person. The next scene is at the hospital. The doctors, failing to analyze Regan's behavior, theorize that the case could be more spiritual, but a demon possession. One of the doctors advises that Chris should call the church to drive out the invading demon inside Regan's body. Suddenly, the lieutenant that talked to Damien talks to Chris. He asked if the director has been in Regan's room during the time of his death. The lieutenant also says that the director would not have fallen on the window by himself. He theorizes that he was killed by a very powerful person, specifically Regan, because she was the only one in the room during that night. After the discussion, Chris has been thinking about what the lieutenant has said to her. While scared, she wonders if her daughter really killed her director friend. Suddenly, she hears Regan screaming and a demonic voice upstairs. Chris rushes to Regan's room to check on her. As Chris goes to the room, she sees stuff flying all over the place. While possessed by a demon, Regan takes a crucifix and brutally stabs her own private part, leaving so much blood all over the bed. Chris tries to take the crucifix and fight the demon, but the demon simply overpowers her. The demon hit her in the face, making her fall down to the floor and scream in agony. The house helpers try to help Chris. However, the demon moves the chair behind the door, making the house helpers unable to come inside. The demon-possessed Regan starts turning her head around and talks with Chris while mimicking the voice of the director. Chris is starting to fear for her life. In the next scene, Damien meets Chris. As they walk, they start talking about their situation with Regan. Chris talks about exorcism, but Damien believes that demon possessions do not happen anymore. And likewise, behaviors are only caused by mental illnesses. To convince him, Chris says that she thinks that her daughter, Regan, is being possessed by a demon. Chris says that she badly needs an exorcist to cast out the demon inside her daughter. Damien agrees to see Regan. Chris and Damien can easily hear Regan's screams just as they enter the house. Not long after, Damien goes inside Regan's room. While talking, the demon-possessed Regan says that she is the devil and dares Damien to remove the straps tied to her body. Trying to deceive Damien, the demon starts mimicking his dead mother. However, the demon has nothing to say when Damien asks the demon what his mother's maiden name is. In anger, the demon throws up into Damien's face a vomit projectile liquid contaminated with diabetics, making him startled and humiliated. In the next scene, Damien talks with Chris. Damien still believes that Regan is not possessed, and the church would not allow the exorcism. He advises that Regan should be taken into a very good hospital to be observed even more. However, Chris insists that a demon possesses her daughter. As she slams her hands onto the table, she says that what Damien has been saying is ridiculous. But as Damien leaves the house, he wonders why Regan knows that his mother has just died. Chris says that Regan does not know anything about that information. This made Damien think deeper about whether the demon is really possessing Regan, especially because a little girl like her can't have diabetics so young. The next day, Damien decides to visit Regan again. This time, Damien is becoming more suspicious of the demon. To test the demon, Damien tries to speak with the demon in different languages. Strangely, the demon is able to reply fluently in different languages. Damien knows that Regan cannot speak foreign languages, so he's now convinced that he really is speaking to a demon. Damien asks the demon how long she would plan to stay in Regan's body. The demon replies that as long as Regan's body is alive, she will not leave the child's body. Damien takes his holy water and starts pouring it into the demon. The demon starts screaming in so much pain. Upon leaving the room, Damien talks to Chris once again. Although being able to speak different languages, Damien says that the case of possession is still weak because what he sprinkled on Regan was not really holy water, but only tap water. Out of desperation, Chris confesses that her daughter is the one who killed the director. The next night, an emergency comes. Damien rushes to Chris' house to check on Regan. They find that the words "help me" are materialized on Regan's skin. Damien concludes that they should now warrant an exorcism in the church. The church advises sending an experienced exorcist to help Regan. Soon, the experienced exorcist is summoned and arrives at the house and warns Damien that the devil is using a psychological attack. The demon curses the priests as they read from the Roman ritual. The story reveals that the demon focuses on Damien, who was verbally attacked for his lack of faith and grief over his mother's death. It's now the time for the exorcism to happen. Trembling, the exorcist takes nitroglycerin. After a while, Damien enters the room, and the demon mimics the form of his mother. Damien shows his vulnerability and declares that the demon is not his mother. The exorcist excuses Damien and carries on with the exorcism alone. However, after a while, Damien enters the room and finds the exorcist dead. Before doing the exorcism, he assures Chris that Regan will not die. Damien then thrashes the possessed Regan and asks the demon to take him instead. Regan is freed when the demon rips a medallion of St. Joseph from Damien's neck. However, the demon begins to possess Damien. Damien throws himself out the window and tumbles down the outdoor stairs. Chris and the lieutenant make their way into the room. Chris embraces the recovered Regan, while the lieutenant surveys the chaos. Outside, one of the priests performs the last rituals as Damien passes away. Days after the tragedy, the priest bids the family farewell as they prepare to depart. The tragedy of the demon possession that struck Georgetown would always linger, but only a few people will know it. Despite having no recollection of her ordeal, Regan is motivated to kiss the priest on the cheek when she sees his clerical collar. Before leaving, Chris hands the priest the medallion she found in Regan's chamber. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.